Hi, I'm Chad and you're watching Purple Collar Life. This channel is all about what we do, Purple Collar Life, in our 30-acre homestead that's surrounded by multi-generation family acreage. And one of the things I want to talk to you about today is 5 things I hate about this John Deere tractor. Now, coming up with 5 things I hate about it wasn't hard. I'll be honest. These are things that have annoyed me almost since the very beginning of getting this tractor. I could probably come up with about 5,000 things that I love about this tractor, though. So I wanted to make sure I said that right off the bat. I love this tractor, but there are 5 things that really annoy me about the tractor. This is probably the #1 thing that annoys me about the tractor is the fuel fill. You can see it's right here. It does have a nice big cap to take off, but especially when you've got a full can. Now this is 5 gallons of diesel fuel. It's heavy. It's hard to lift over there, and I've got the loader here in the way. That in itself isn't the worst. It's not a great position for sure. Much better if you were filling it on the back like some of the newer tractors on the other brands. But the worst thing is I keep my loader pretty well lubed up. So I've got grease on all these points. So when I take this can and I'm leaning in there and my belly sticks out just enough that every coat I wear when I'm filling this up ends up getting grease on it. You can see there's actually a grease stain on this coat because of leaning over here to put diesel in the fuel fill. Just a bad position when you're trying to fill it with a can. Now, maybe if you had a hose and a transfer tank, easy enough. But if you're trying to fill with a can and the loader's on, wear old clothes. And I can show you from this side, you can see how that's right in your way. If you were trying to fill up this and putting the can in there, it's practically unavoidable to touch this while you're leaning over top of there. #2 on my list of things I hate about this tractor, the deck height adjustment system. It's far from being accurate. It's really hard to get the deck up and down. When you turn this knob, if there's any weight on the deck, this knob doesn't turn very easily. So when I've got ballast on the back and it's additional weight that I'm trying to lift on the deck to lift this up, it's not an easy task. And then, like I said, it's nowhere near being accurate. So these are not, I guess, meant to be height indicators, which is good because they're nowhere near that, but they're also nowhere near like an inch increments. So if you go from 3 to 3.5 or 3.5 to 4, those aren't half-inch increments. They make a big difference on the deck, and it's just not a great system. #3 is this 3-point system that includes this little lever for lifting the deck. This lever is a pain. You can see how far out to the left it goes. So unless whatever you're hauling is shifted clear left, this arm doesn't get a good grip on this, doesn't lift, and doesn't lift the deck up very well. The other thing I don't like is these turnbuckles. These things are a pain. I've already replaced them once. When there is load shift, these can be bent really easily. And then you can see I've got to have them adjusted a certain way so that everything is tried to be as far left as possible to lift up this bracket to lift the deck. It's a poor design, a poor system, and not user-friendly. You can see all the more of that lever that was caught by this, and it's not even swiveled over. You can see if it swivels to this side, it loses a lot of grip on that, and you're not lifting the deck up nearly as far as you could be. So if you can force it that way as far as possible, you can see how much more it lifts up. But as soon as there's not something holding this in place, it slides and you lose that height that you've gained. The 4th thing I hate about this tractor, the lighting. These lights are not only pathetic, they're pretty much useless if you've got anything on the front end. Now, with the forks, they're a lot better than with the bucket. With the forks, the lights can shine through thanks to the Artilian design, but they're still not very bright. They don't go very far in front of you, and like I said, if you've got anything in the bucket or anything on the forks, you can't see anything. So you can see I added this LED light bar. That's made a world of difference. That gives me a lot of light out in front of me regardless of what's in front of the tractor, and I highly recommend adding additional lights if all you have on your tractor is the stock lights. The 5th and final thing I hate about this tractor is the hydraulics. Now I know for its time it was really good, but now it's very antiquated. the hydraulics are really slow and they're limited in pressure. So I don't have a whole lot of lift capacity on the tractor. We've talked about that, and you can watch the video up above.
Yeah.
It's 1,033 pounds.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll try it at idle. My guess is that it will not lift it at idle. That's all the higher it will let me lift it at idle. And of course, I've got no curl. How much can it lift? It did lift more than we thought it would, but it's not very strong hydraulics, and it's really slow hydraulics. Obviously, you can't do two things at once, so you can't tilt and lift at the same time. You've got to do one function at a time on the joystick. But the new tractors have so much more hydraulic capabilities, not only for the lifting, but also for the speed. And that's a really nice thing. The same hydraulics in this tractor do the power steering and the hydraulic lift. In the newer John Deeres, they're two separate systems. So you've got one hydraulic capacity for your steering, one hydraulic capacity for your lift. So let me show you how slow this works. I will speed up the engine. It just would be so nice to be able to do two functions at once, but you've got to alternate back and forth. And it's not super smooth, so, you know, try as I may to be really careful and smooth, there are times, especially if I've got something on here, that it can get a little jerky, especially going down, because if you let it go full speed down, you'll see it'll drop pretty fast. But you can see lift, there's not a lot of speed there, which is fine with the forks on. You don't lift things very quickly with the forks on, but when you've got the bucket on, there are sometimes I wish it would curl and lift a little bit faster than it does. Now, if I'm talking about the great things, that Artillean fork system has made this entirely another tractor. We can do so many things with it that I hadn't even imagined. I love having those things on there. So like I said, there are those 5 things I hate about this tractor, and obviously hate's a very strong word. 5 annoyances, but they weren't hard to come up with because like I said, especially filling the fuel tank and getting your jacket all greasy every time is the biggest annoyance about this tractor. The other ones are also annoying, and it didn't take me very long to learn that they were annoying. So yeah, they are things that I don't really like about the tractor, but like I said, there's about 5,000 things I love about this tractor. Having the tractor has made it much more possible to maintain our land. And like I said, having the forks on the front lets me do a lot of things that I couldn't previously do. As you can see, I have something on the front here. As you can see, I have something on the front here. Watch for that in a future video. Some exciting stuff coming up on the channel. Thanks again. If you like videos like this, make sure you click that like button. Olive loves it. Comment below. We like hearing from you guys, different things that are happening. We like the stories we see in the comments. So we really appreciate the comments, and if you're not already subscribed, make sure you click that subscribe button.